Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel, Mama Chow Spicy Wonton. This is our sixth episode, and I heard some great feedback already where, one of them is to spice it up. So we're going to try to keep this a little more spicy, this one. Um, and this episode is focused on Mama Chow's father, my grandfather, who ironically, I don't even know his name. I only know his name as grandfather. I don't know. What's his name?
周知真
So yes, his story of that led him to a re-education camp because we spoke in episode 3, which you can check out on our YouTube channel, about his dramatic escape from Shanghai, which was approved by the government. And this episode today will focus on reasons why he was sent to the re-education camp. For historical context, this basically happened, um, during the a double hundred movement, which mom in Chinese would have.
百花齐放，百家争鸣. That means let 100 flower bloom, let 100 school of thought content.
Okay. And so this happened in 1956 to 57. There were thousands, they estimate 5,000 plus, people, including diplomats, intellectuals, were basically rounded up and sent to re-education camps. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Mama Chow to talk about her, what led her father to that situation.
Hello, everyone again. Uh, year of 1956 to 7 was what a turbulent year. Another political movement happening in China, promoted by Chairman Mao, which is called like 百花争鸣,百家齐放. It started within the party, Communist Party inside, but then uh, grow until uncontrollable. So it spread out to everywhere, school, university, company, factory, everywhere. The purpose of that movement was to convince people to speak up, to express their opinion toward the government, discontent or advice to the government. So the government, sounds like they want to improve ordinary citizens' life. But actually, you know what happened? Which is not like that. The main purpose for the government to do that is they want to get people's opposition parties thought so they can deal with them, punish
Well,
them.
that's the debate, right? What was the intention? Because at the first time when they announced it, it sounded like, oh, they wanted open thought, 100 flowers bloom. And then some others thought, well, cynically, there was actually a trap, a trick to try to get people to come out so they could target them. But let's not talk about that too much. So the main point is your father's experience. So what happened to him?
Okay, my father was working at one shipping company as general manager, and every unit, every company has a secretary, party secretary station in the company. So the
Hmm.
party secretary invited him to give an open speech.
And they still do that, right? Right now, I think they probably do. You have to be a party member, I'm sure, in most companies.
No,
Yeah.
still, yes.
Yeah.
Party secretary, yes. Without any punishment, without recording, without anything. So naively, my father believed that. So he did give a 4 hour speech. But when the meeting started, he said, well, I'll get trapped because the first row, 2 rows, cover with all reporter journalism. They have a recording everything. So apparently they want to catch him,
Hmm.
like my grandfather suspected. The next day, the main newspaper, 解放日报, Shanghai 解放日报, published every single word of he said from page
Hmm.
1 to page 4. So I remember,
And you have a copy of this, right? You have a copy
yeah,
of it. Yeah.
I have a copy of the paper. Yes, I do. It, I remember my grandfather was home resting, but he had lung cancer. So every day he looked the paper, may not be read, the people read for him. So that day we tell him, Grandpa, there's no paper. He said, how come no paper? We say, just no paper. They don't publish today.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know anything. What happened to my father? Because of that, because of that, they the company told him, and we will give you a big hat, the black hat. The
That,
hand,
that was a famous it was basically like The Handmaid's Tale, which Mama Chow probably doesn't know, but it's very famous now, TV show, is a famous book where people basically are targeted by what they're wearing. So this hat that Mama Chow's talking about was this big, tall black hat they made people wear that they accused were being kind of rightist or, you know,
you know, my father never wear this hat, but literally speaking, is a hat.
mhm.
The label,
They
you are
gave him that label.
the
Yeah.
rightist, 叫右派分子.
Mhm.
So he's like a first class 右派分子 in Shanghai. And when after my grandfather passed, there when he gave the speech, my grandfather still survived, still alive.
But it
Then
was
my
a year before he passed away, right? Your grandfather
yes,
passed away then the following year.
my grandfather's 1958.
Hmm.
That happened in 1957. So after he passed away, there's traditional procedure for traditional company. When people passed away, you have to have 7 weeks.
Hmm.
First week 叫头七, second week 二期, 7 weeks is 49 days.
Yeah.
So before the 49 day expire, they call my dad. The police department call him.
You're talking about the Chinese tradition, just so that, our audience can understand. There's like a tradition where you're supposed to mourn for 7 weeks.
Yes.
And you're explaining basically that the police waited until close to the end of 49 days before calling your father.
Yes. My father said, okay, well, my day's coming.
Hmm.
He knows this will come, but not that soon. So I saw him pack up his cleaning stuff like toothpaste, toothbrush, a little tub
Hmm.
for washing faces,
Hmm.
and face towel, all those things. Very simple. So I put in a bag. So he's walking to the police station. Before he left, he told me, he said, I will be back. But by those days, you never know when he will be released because he doesn't know where they will keep him where. But
And
finally,
you were scared, right? I mean, how old were you? You're
I
only
was so scared, uh, so helpless, so hopeless.
you're 12
I,
years old, right? 12?
12 years old,
Yeah.
yes. That day, I remember my sister was sent to Guiyang,
Hmm.
compulsory,
Hmm.
sent to Guiyang. So she's not home. My mother was not home. My mother went to the Pudong
Okay.
countryside to work.
So they were both sent to different places to work, and now the third closest member of your family is sent to a re-education camp. So you're like the last person standing in the house because you're too young, I guess. So you were at home.
I'm too young, yes.
So,
Otherwise, I would be there too.
yeah. So can you give an example maybe of something he wrote? You said he spent 4 hours as an orator, like without any notes, just speaking freely, and this was all recorded, unfortunately, in the newspaper. But is there an example of something he said maybe that was controversial that even you thought was maybe too much?
Yeah, I thought it too much. My behavior was very awkward, but not as outspoken as he does. He said, he explained, described the Chinese government like a apple, just like Shakespeare said in Shakespeare's book. The apple looks like very beautiful, perfect outside, but rotten inside.
Yeah.
You
So we
maybe
we
you know.
found we found this quotation in Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare has so many famous quotes. I mean, one of them is, it's rotten in the state of Denmark, obviously from Hamlet. But this one about the apple, supposedly according to the internet, it says it's about a goodly apple rotten at the core. So that was the kind of the euphemism that he used to describe the communist government, which obviously got him in trouble. In trouble.
Yes, I
Um,
think it's a bit too much, too daring to say that.
yeah.
So they he went to the police station. They kept him there for a couple of days in the station.
Mhm.
And then they sent him to Anhui re-educational camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my grandfather uh, suspect
Hmm.
this will happen
Well, he
eventually.
warned him basically to keep quiet, not do anything, but
Yeah,
you know,
he said, my grandfather said he himself is big umbrella for
mhm.
Chow family, but the umbrella is not new. The broken umbrella, if for the for the shower, for little drizzle of the rain,
Yeah.
he can protect us.
Hmm.
But if either like a storm come,
Hmm.
he said, I'm not strong enough. But
Hmm.
he told my father, you are just a big fish in the ocean. The net is everywhere waiting to catch you. If
Hmm.
you don't move, they don't know where you are. So
Hmm.
don't say anything. But
Hmm.
he did say something. So
So what, I mean, so in the end, though, many decade, like at least a decade passed, he finally got a formal apology letter from the government
yes, when he was
from, yeah, from Hu Yaobang, which nowadays, I don't know if his name is, I don't know what his reputation is, after the late 1980s and events that happened then. But this is way before that time,
yes, Hu Yaobang said that the governor will take off his hat,
hmm.
to write his hat,
Yeah.
and say apologize to him, the treatment toward
Yeah.
him. You know what my father said? He said, I do not accept this apology because it is 10 years too late.
So, I mean, yeah, thinking back, after this, I mean, we will talk a little bit in a separate episode about his experience there in the re-education camp. But for now, just big picture, thinking back, how did you think it impacted your father's? Did it break his? It sounds like it broke his spirit, probably. So in some
He
ways, the
did.
government succeeded because it broke his spirit. Um, but what did you take from that? Did you take from that like, oh, well, it's better to be quiet? That's something maybe your mom would say, their life would maybe have been different if it was quiet. Or, I mean, what was your takeaway from that?
Okay. Actually, for my life, my grow up, or my lifetime, I think I changed a little bit.
Hmm.
I did speak less,
Okay.
less open, less open. So if anything, sometimes I don't agree with people, I will shut up.
Mm.
I will. But I will still, most of the time, I will express my opinion. I don't care.
Hmm.
So it's still me because it is my personality.
But I mean, you were saying in those days, we were just talking earlier, and we need to wrap this up soon, but we were talking earlier, it's not even just speaking out, being outspoken in front of journalists. You were saying people could be speaking in their dreams or having
Oh yeah, yeah.
nightmares.
Oh yeah. My uncle, one of the uncle, my father's younger brother,
Hmm.
he lives in Nantong,
Hmm.
the Zhejiang part of
Yeah.
the city. He's very, very advanced now. He works in a factory,
But just, yeah. Hmm.
cleaning factory. He is the one doesn't speak much.
Hmm.
He does not like my father personality. He
So he's
doesn't.
not outspoken in like your
No, he's
father.
not.
Yeah.
No,
But he said
but
something when he was sleeping and got in trouble.
yes, yes. He was living in a dormitory, factory
Yeah.
dormitory. So during the night, he doesn't know what to speak.
Yeah.
So they told him, you spoke this in
Yeah.
your dream. So that's exactly what you thought in daytime. So that's your thinking. He was put in the jail too for a few years.
Yeah.
So you can never avoid.
Crazy, crazy, crazy time. Well, so that wraps up today's episode. The next one we'll talk about, his experience maybe in the camp. We also have many, many other stories, including a grandfather's experience also escaping a perilous situation, with Japanese, and then also your grandmother's role in helping to get your father out of the camp. But that's for future episodes.
what a daring old
Yeah.
lady, my grandmother.
So, thanks everybody for joining today's episode. And don't
Thank
forget to
you.
like and subscribe. Bye.